Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another video. Yes, yes, the title is correct. It is not a clickbait title. I don't use clickbait titles. Now, yes, the title is correct. I registered to get my concealed carry weapon permit, and there is a reason why that I did it. And chances are you're one of three different kinds of people. A, you do like guns and you encourage the concept of concealed carry or open carry, and so you're glad that I did it. Number two, you don't care either way. You may or may not like guns, but you're just here for the video to hear my own personal thoughts on it. Or C, you're the kind of person that don't like guns, and regardless of my thoughts, you're going to criticize because you don't like guns. Well, if you don't like guns, then why the heck did you click onto the video? Go find something to enjoy. Go find something that satisfies you. But yeah, I about 3 weeks ago, today Wednesday makes exactly 3 weeks ago that I registered to get my concealed weapon permit. That I registered to get my concealed carry weapon permit, my CCW permit, and there is a couple of different reasons why. I mulled it over. As you know, back in May, I managed to finally purchase the firearm that I've been wanting to get for about 3 or 4 years, a 1911 45 ACP. And whenever I got it, I did not have any intentions of getting, at the time, I really had no intentions of getting my concealed weapon permit. It honestly didn't seem like something that I needed. However, an incident happened, and don't worry, nothing bad happened, but it was just the unsettling nature of the situation that made me really think about it. This was about a month and a week or two. This was about a month and a week or two ago. This was back in this was back in either very late. This was I think late August or like the first week of September, and we were at church, and right at the end of service, right at the end of service, the preaching was already over. It was during the invitational. Suddenly, this guy that has never been inside the church, that has never been inside this church before, walks in, and I didn't see him at first. I happened to glance to my left, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this guy standing like just off to my left, and I didn't pay any attention because during that time it was the invitational, and so I'm looking up at the monitors to make sure that I get the lyrics up on screen, and I didn't know every detail until the praise team leader, who was up on stage and has full view of all through the back of the church, told me about what happened later on. He said that the guy walks in, and the first unsettling thing was that the guy waited till at the very end of service. Like, service was over, and he waits until the invitational is going on to actually walk inside the church. That right there doesn't make any sense. And I was told that the guy walked in, and he turned to his left, and he acted kind of skittish, kind of angsty. He turned to the left, walked halfway down behind the pews, stopped, turned to the right, and walked the other way. Walked around and took his seat over on the right. And after the invitational, and the pastor asked, did anybody have any testimonies that they wanted to say or that they wanted to share, the guy, while everybody's standing up, he speaks up, and he doesn't have testimony, but he says that someone told him that he could come to the church, he could come to them for help. He needs some help. He didn't say what. He didn't go into detail, and the pastor told him, okay, that he and a couple of deacons would see him after church. Apparently, the guy had, what I found out was apparently the guy had some sort of financial issues. But the thing about it was how unsettling the whole thing was. The guy didn't walk in and act calm. He acted angsty. He acted skittish. And instead of just walking in and calmly taking a seat, he made a move around the left side of the church and then turns and makes his way around the right. And all different sort of paranoid thoughts at this point went through my head, like, well, the guy could have been scouting out the church, trying to see what kind of security it had. Did it have security? Trying to see, like, is there anybody that if I tried to cause a problem, is there anybody that is fit enough that would actually do something about it, that would take me on? There's all kinds of thoughts that at this point began to go through my head. Was there a couple of other people waiting outside the church, waiting for him to come back out and report his findings? And I know what some people are going to say, that it's not a good idea to automatically assume the worst of someone. I know that it's not a good idea to do that. However, in my personal experience, I've been betrayed by several people in my life that had my trust and let me down. And it got to where now, and considering the way people are today, I basically live my life in a bit of paranoia. I automatically assume that people are not what they seem to be until I'm proven wrong. And it's best to assume, and it's kind of like with any sort of preparedness. Being prepared is, I mean, you're paranoid about the what ifs, and so you prepare. It's better to be prepared and be ready for something to happen than to just say, well, it can't happen to me, or assume it's never going to happen. Just assume that this person and that person have good inside of them. No, that's not how I live my life. I automatically believe that whenever I meet someone, if they seem friendly, then I'll go by that. But there's a part of me that believes that they are that way. But the most of me believes that they're just putting on a ruse, that they're not really that friendly. And don't get close to them. Don't get too involved with them. Stand back and find out a little at a time and see how they really are before you pass a judgment. That's basically what I do. That's how I live my life. And that hasn't killed me yet. It's best to assume that everybody are pricks and be proven wrong than to just assume somebody is good and then have them betray you and use you, take advantage of you. So it's better to be wary and put some distance between you and somebody than to just automatically assume, hello there, and that they're just a good person. I don't do that. Until I'm proven, basically, you got to prove to me that you're a good person. If you want to prove it to me, prove it to me. And so, the guy he gave off this uneasy vibe. And it made me think about the shooting that happened in Texas. And so, about this guy that just stood out, this retard prick that just stood outside and decided to gun down the church. And so, I started thinking about that. And I mulled it over for a couple of weeks, and then I decided, you know what, I've already got my gun, I might as well go ahead and get my concealed carry permit. Whether I use it or not is up to me. And basically, and I know some people are going to tell me that it's a bad comparison, or I have a bad way of comparing things, but that's, again, how I live my life. Hasn't killed me yet. If it kills me, then whoops, okay, I was wrong. But if it doesn't, but I ain't dead yet. The way that I look at it, a concealed carry permit is like a driver's license. You've got it, you can use it, doesn't mean you have to. You can ride a bicycle. You don't have to have a permit. You don't have to have a driver's license to ride a bicycle. You can walk. to a location. You don't have to have a permit. Now, I know what you're going to say. We have to drive. Not necessarily. Not everybody does. Some people live in a smaller area where they can easily ride a bicycle somewhere. So, it's a choice. And a concealed carry permit is the same way. And it's also about safety. Now, this is what I personally believe myself. I believe it's about safety. I do believe 100% in safety and preparedness. I believe 100% in preparedness. And I believe that it's better to be prepared for something than to automatically assume that you're safe and that nothing is going to happen. I know for a fact that anytime something like that happens, the first thing you think is, how many times have things like that happened and people thought it can't happen to me? How many times have people got in their car and left somewhere, had a flat tire, and thought it couldn't happen to me? I believe in 100% being prepared for the unexpected, being prepared for something that you don't want to happen. Carrying a weapon with you, be it a gun or a knife or a stun gun, a stun rod, it's a way to protect yourself and protect others as well. And I believe in 100% doing that. Why do we have a fire extinguisher in our home? Why do we have a spare tire in our vehicles? Why do we have a fire extinguisher in our vehicles? Because we have them for emergencies. We have them should we need them. A gun is no different. I believe it's better to have it. I believe it's better to have it and never need it than to need it and not have it. I don't have a fire extinguisher in the house because I'm expecting a fire to happen. Lord knows I hope it never does. I have a spare tire and a fire extinguisher in my vehicles. Lord knows I hope I never have to use them, but I have them. Peace of mind. That is what it's all about. It's about peace of mind, knowing you're prepared. And I know there are a lot of people that are preparing. They have like underground shelters or something, and they've got a lot of stocked up canned foods and such. I don't find that funny. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's great that they are preparing because you never know whenever something is going to happen. I mean, I know there's been plenty of talk about a nuclear fallout before, but really all it would take is just for some trigger-happy individual to push that button, and boom, we're doomed. We're nuked. I believe in 100% being prepared. And I believe it's better to be prepared than to find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do. And I've watched a few survival shows, a few survival programs on the Weather Channel and such. And I've read survival books, and I do believe in being prepared for the unexpected. And so that's why I carry a knife with me. That's why I'm planning on getting a stun rod. And that's why I registered to get my concealed carry permit. And that's why I'm wanting to get a holster. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Some would say, well, a gun is a weapon. It's used to kill. There's a few facts that I want to point out. Number one, who made the guns? Human beings made the guns. I think it's funny whenever people act like guns are evil. Who made them? It's not like we suddenly appeared on this planet and this planet was already inhabited by guns and we just decided to coexist with firearms. Nope, that's not what happened. Additionally, my gun, right now, I could take every bullet out of it, put it on my desk right here. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to go out in the middle of the night, kill somebody, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to wake up the next day and see my gun has been moved, and I'm going to look at it and say, "What did you do last night?" And the gun is like, "Nothing." No. There's a saying, and I've seen this said before, and I know some people are tired of hearing it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And I think it's funny that whenever people make the comments, anytime a shooting happens, the first thing people want to say is ban guns. But whenever another incident happens, people they don't have anything to say. They don't have anything to say. First off, back in 2017, there was the New York City incident where a rented Home Depot truck ran over some cyclists and killed eight people in that incident alone. A guy stole a Home Depot truck and used it to run over people. Okay, I never once heard anybody or saw anybody say, let's ban Home Depot trucks. No, they didn't say that. I couldn't find any information about it, but I seem to recall an incident last year also where it was in a different country, but somebody stole a tour bus and used it to run over a few people. I saw an article earlier this year where a woman ran her car onto a softball field and ran over an old man. Automotives were involved in all of these. I've seen nobody saying let's ban vehicles. It's not about. And also 9/11. Was gun used to kill all those people? No, it was planes. A gun did not bring down the Twin Towers. It was planes that brought down the Twin Towers. It was a plane that went down in that field in Pennsylvania. It was a plane, supposedly, that hit the Pentagon. What brought down the Titanic? Was that a gun? No. You see, I can look at each of these other points and explain other situations like that where something unrelated to firearms transpired. Besides the New York City attack, there was another incident involving a vehicle in 2017 in Barcelona, Spain. A guy drove a van into pedestrians and killed 13 people and injured at least 130 others. Also in 2017 in Stockholm, a hijacked lorry was driven into a crowd, and killed 5 people and injured 14 others. Yeah, basically all of these were vehicle related. My point is that anything can be used as a weapon. Not just guns. Anything can be used as a weapon if somebody makes it so. If I were to snap while I'm at work, there are no guns in sight, but I have access to all kinds of things that I could use. I could pick up a metal chair. I could pick up a microwave and use that. I have access to razor blades that I could use. There's hammers, screwdrivers. There's anything. You could go to Home Depot, to Tractor Supply, to Lowe's, and get an axe, a hatchet, or something that you could use. You see? Anything can be used as a weapon. It depends on the person, not the thing. People complain about these things for existing, thinking that they prompt someone for violence. No. These things don't prompt violence. It's the person that prompts themselves for that. If it's in their nature, if it's them, it doesn't matter. They're going to, they're going to use it. So, me myself, I fully support firearms, and I support people that want to carry them for defense, for self-defense, and to protect themselves and others. And I believe in being prepared. And I believe it's better to be prepared. And like I said, I carry a knife with me. I'm planning on getting a stun rod, so if you want to complain about that, go right ahead. I'm not going to listen. I don't believe in the mentality of not... I don't believe in the mentality of not taking measures to prepare yourself. And then if something happens, then wishing later, well, I should have done something. Or I could have done something. it's too late. How many times have people been out and found themselves with a flat tire and they didn't have a spare because, I should be good? Did you think to yourself later, well, I mean, did you think to yourself, well, I should have had a spare tire? Did that make you go and get a spare tire? Typically, a situation like that happens, and you want to be prepared. And I believe that it's better to be prepared. And the fact is, the world today is crap. People are a lot more inept to snapping today. People are a lot more insecure. They're a lot more insensitive. They're a lot more selfish. They're a lot more fragile. They're a lot more easily offended and a lot more easily agitated. And they have a lot less respect for other people's ideas and beliefs and property than they used to. And so today I believe that, and I believe that it's better to be prepared. It's better to have some sort of precaution. And I know exactly what somebody's probably also thinking right now. Are you going to wear your gun in church? From time to time, yes, I will. I mean, will I wear my gun in church? I'll have to see about that. But if I can, I will. And I know what somebody is thinking. That you shouldn't have to have a gun on you in church. I know. And I think it's silly myself. You would think a church, out of every place that there is, that a church would be safe. You would think that. But the world has changed. It has evolved. And I believe that we as civilians, I believe that we need to change and evolve ourselves to accommodate the way that the world has changed and evolved. I believe that we need to evolve ourselves and we need to update ourselves for survival. Sticking with some of the old ways is fine, but whenever it comes to the safety of yourself and others, I believe it's time to update. It's time to pop in. It's time to go online and get that upgrade. I believe that we should be updated, and we should keep. I believe that we should be prepared. I don't like the idea of having to have a knife or a stun rod or a gun on me in church. I don't like the idea of it. I mean, it seems foreign to me. It's like I would have never have thought that there would come a day where you couldn't exactly feel 100% safe inside of a church. And it's stupid. It's really stupid that whenever a church is not a 100% safe place, that you have to be concerned, that you have to, I mean, I found myself, ever since that incident, so many times now, I found myself constantly looking back at the doors behind me, seeing if I can see anybody coming inside the church acting strangely. I found myself looking around at the congregation, thinking, is there anybody that I don't see that looks that I don't recognize? Is there anybody that is acting suspicious or peculiar? Is there anybody that's wearing extremely baggy clothes that could conceal something or hide something? Is there anybody that looks skittish, or people that are looking like they're not paying attention during the actual service, that they're just kind of skittish and angsty and waiting for a moment to strike? I have found myself surveying everything around me. And honestly, it's a good idea. It's honestly a good idea. And I think that it's a good way to adapt for a survival situation, to be wary of your surroundings, regardless of where you are. And it's something I've been working with myself to try to improve and try to get better and try to identify things. And I found myself doing that. And I like doing it. And it feels ridiculous that, you can't remain completely calm inside of a church, that you have to a part of you has to be on edge. A part of you has to be ready to go in the blink of an eye. And it's strange that you have to feel that way. But again, the world is the way it is now. And it's not getting any better. It's just going to get worse. The world is going to heck fast. And I believe that we as people, as civilians, in not just in the U.S., but any country, if you have people, family, friends that you care about, I believe that we need to take a stand and prepare ourselves and show that we're not weak. We're not going to put up with people trying to run over us and think that they can bully their weight around, that they can say who lives and dies. I don't believe that. I believe that we should take a stand. I believe that any person in any country, you got that right. I believe that we should take a stand and prepare ourselves, not just with firearms. Take self-defense. Take any sort of self-defense class that you can. Keep things on you and with you for survival. Put emergency gear in your vehicle. Put a machete. Put a large knife. Put rope straps in your vehicle. Put a crowbar, a hatchet. Keep things with you that would be for survival, that could benefit. And I know what you're thinking. This is silly. Why would I need any of this stuff? I know. It's silly, but at the same time, it's better to be prepared and have an idea, and it's better to research and know what you're doing than to find yourself in a situation and not know what to do. And people think, just like that shooting in Texas, that guy thought, that's a church, nobody in there is going to be armed. I can shoot all these people. But what happened? A Texan stood up against this guy who had a gun and chased after this guy. And see, that was a situation in which a gun was used for a bad purpose and a good purpose. There was good and evil. There are evil people out there in the world. And it doesn't matter whether it's a gun or what it is or a Home Depot truck. They will find a way to hurt because they're pure freaking evil. That's not a human being. That's a freaking monster. That's not a heart in their chest. That's just a machine. Evil will always try to find a way to make itself known, to make itself present. And we need to take a stand against it and say, we're not weak. We're not defenseless. You try to hurt me, you try to hurt people that I care about, I'm going to do what I can, and I'm not going to let you run over them or me. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe in being prepared, not just with the self-defense situation like that. I believe take self-defense. Take survival. Put survival gear in your vehicle. Read up on survival techniques. Put snow boots. Anything in your vehicle. Put survival gear in your vehicle. Stock up on canned foods. If you have a basement or an underground bunker, stock up. Because you never know what's going to happen. And I believe in being prepared. And I got my concealed carry permit because of peace of mind. Because I want to know that I have it. How much I use it is my choice. But I want to have peace of mind that knowing that whenever I choose to use it, I'm permitted to do so. Because I want to be prepared. And it's also fun. It's also fun learning things like that too. But I do believe in being prepared. And I believe that anybody, if you're not comfortable with carrying a gun, that's fine. I'm not telling you to do so. But there are other ways that you can defend yourself. You can protect yourself. Learn self-defense. Find a place near you. Find someone near you that can teach you karate, self-defense techniques, not just basic stuff, like advanced. Find a place that will teach it to you. Read up on things like that, on survival. You can you can get a really good pocket knife, a really good carry knife. I personally would recommend the combat and the rescue knives that have the seatbelt cutter and glass breaker. Personally, I would really recommend those. Get a bright flashlight, keep it in your vehicle. Get a pocket flashlight. Get a stun rod, mace, pepper spray. There are plenty of things you can do to keep on you to protect yourself, and I fully say do this. Don't neglect it. Do not say, well, I live in a small community. This can't happen to me. Never think it can't happen to you. Be prepared. There are plenty of things you can do, and it's best to spend a little money and prepare yourself, gear up, than to find yourself in a situation where you're defenseless. And so you don't have to get a gun. Pepper spray, mace, pocket knife, stun rod, stun gun, super bright flashlight, carrying some sort of knockout device. There are plenty of things you can carry on you, and I recommend doing it. And if you feel comfortable carrying a weapon, use that too. Carry a flashlight, a tactical flashlight, a heavy-made flashlight that you can hit somebody over the head with. Take a stand. Don't be defenseless. Don't allow yourself to be defenseless. Don't allow people around you to find themselves defenseless. Take a stand. Don't allow yourself to be a victim if you can help it. And take a stand and do what you can to prepare yourself, to defend yourself, and to prepare and defend others that you care about. And I fully support this. And that's why that I registered for my concealed carry permit. That's why I carry a gun. That's why I carry a knife. And that's why I plan on getting a stun rod. That's why I have a freaking bright flashlight. That's why that I do this. And so I believe in being prepared. And so, yeah. But again, I wanted to make a video about that and give my own personal thoughts on that. But again, thanks again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.